record on this computer. Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 3 top tips using Canva to create graphics to attract your audience. I'm Lisa Nichols. I'm with Terra Strategies. That's my company, my social media marketing company. And I also have a Facebook group called the Social Visibility Society, where we share all kinds of great tips on using graphics and using social media to improve your business and get more business. So I am super happy to be talking to you guys about Canva today. Just to give you a little bit of structure on how this is going to work, and then I'll jump into my background. Most of the time we're going to spend online in my computer going over basics of Canva and the different things in Canva, as well as some graphic photo sites. So that's where we're going to spend most of the time. There's no slides with this. It's just all, online real-time learning in Canva. And we're going to be working on choosing images in Canva and from stock sites. We're going to be talking about how to make graphics pop using filters and backgrounds. I've got some really cool tips you guys are going to love. And then we're going to talk about inspiration ideas for your graphics to make them even better. So before we start, I want to make sure everybody can hear me. I'm pretty sure you guys can, but if you could type a yes in the chat box, that would be awesome, just so I know that you all are on board and hearing me and seeing me. So yes is in the chat box. Okay, Holly's got a yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. So everybody's still in the chat box, which is good, and I'm very happy about that. So hopefully I won't have to review how to get into the chat box, okay? So cool. And then when we screen share, if anything weird happens and you don't see the screen share, let me know. I'll tell you when I'm about to screen share, but I want to make sure that you guys can see it because that's where we're spending 100% of our time today. So I'm going to encourage you guys to put down your phones and focus on this. I'm going to be going through a lot of stuff, and because it's me, I'm going to be going through it fairly quickly. If you want me to slow down, you can raise your hand or type in the chat box. But overall, there's a lot to go over. There's a lot of great tips I want to share with all of you that I'm excited about. So it's really going to help if you can pay attention, focus, and put the phones down. I said 2 hours for this. My anticipation is it lasts about an hour and a half, including questions. That's just me. I go through stuff quickly. And I do talk fast as a warning for those of you guys that don't know me. I try to slow down for these things, but man, it's hard. So anyway, that is what we're going to be doing today. So welcome, and let's get started. So first of all, before we jump into the websites that I want to go over, I wanted to give you some information on why graphics are important. And I know you guys know this because you're all here, looking at the webinar and listening to this. But graphics are really the cornerstone of your social media engagement. And I think they're important because they set the tone and feel of your brand. And they convey to people without a word what you're all about. So if you're playful, you have to set a playful tone. If you're serious, you have to set a serious tone. And so graphics are really the cornerstone of everything you do on social media, basically. And, also with your website too. So I really think it's important to be consistent with your graphics. And that's part of why I want to do this, is to get you in the habit of being consistent with how your graphics look, but also to give you some really good ideas on how to make your graphics pop and how to create graphics that look really professional. Just a little bit of background. I have been doing graphics since I started my business. And if anyone is in my group, you've seen me post on my earlier flyers that they're just horrendous. I was using Microsoft Word. I was using Publisher and Word. It was a disaster. And then I finally discovered Canva, I think 2 years ago or a year ago, thanks to Rita, actually. And it's changed my life. And even, I'm not a designer, but it's allowed me to increase the professional look of my graphics to a point where I'm very comfortable, and I even do them for other people because I'm so confident in what I'm putting forward. So I think that using Canva is a tool that everybody, all small business owners, should be well versed in, because it allows you to up your graphics game and really increase the look and feel of what you do to be professional. But why are graphics important in social media? I'm sure you guys all know this, right? But they get more engagement and they get more reach. Facebook posts with images see 2.3 times more engagement than those without. And we're not going to talk about video right now because this is all about graphics, but just know that if you're posting images with graphics, they get better engagement than those without by a long shot. Facebook has done some things lately which make it a little bit harder to switch out graphics for articles, but still, you need to be sure that everything you post has an image with it to get better engagement. tweets, even on Twitter, which you typically don't think of as a visual medium, tweets with images receive 150% more retweets than those tweets without images. And even if you're blogging, graphics are important. There was a study, I think it looked at over 1 million articles or some crazy number. It was from BuzzFeed, maybe? I don't remember, but it was from one of the bigger companies. And they said that an article with an image every 75 to 100 words received double the social media shares than articles with fewer images. So again, images are super important in everything you do. They're the first thing that grab people, and the first thing that I think resonates with people too. Even if you guys are at all interested in doing Facebook ads, images are the cornerstone to your Facebook ads. Like, you can't just pick one of the stock photos anymore. You've really got to create a good Facebook ad with an image that represents your brand, that's branded, that's got a call to action. So images and graphics are truly the cornerstone to everything you're going to do on social media. And that's why I think it's so important for everybody to know how to do them well, so that it's one of the pieces you can do and don't have to farm out, because you don't want to, and nothing, I love graphic designers, but I couldn't afford to pay somebody for all of the graphics that I'm creating for my clients. So for me, it's a necessity that I have to do it. And I create a ton of graphics for my group, a ton of graphics for my page. So I can't consistently pay someone to do that. For me, Canva has been a lifesaver, and I want to share it with you. So I'm going to start screen sharing now. And if you guys, once I do this, can type in that you can see the screen, that would rock. So here we go. Okay, screen share, and then I'm actually going to hide my thumbnail. Oh, but I can't see the chat now. Okay, so that wasn't the best idea I've ever had. Okay, so I can see the chat, and I might have to move this around a little bit. Okay, so I've got yes from Tracy that she can see my screen share, so I'm hopeful that the rest of you guys can too. Awesome, Tracy and Holly, thank you. Awesome. Okay, so hopefully everybody is familiar with what Canva looks like. If you guys are not, just so you know, I'm trying to move this little Zoom thing here. Okay. And again, if you have questions, type it in. I'll try and grab it as soon as I can. I think raising hand pops up something that doesn't always get to me if I don't see your chat. So if you really need something, raise your hand, type in a chat, and I'll try and answer. But we're going to be going over a lot of stuff, so hopefully I'll have answered all of your questions anyway. So anyway, Canva. Why Canva? It's easy to use and it makes you look professional. It is so easy to use. It's amazing. Despite the fact that I'm in social media, I'm not a really great techie person, and Canva is one of the most intuitive things I've ever come across. I love it. So if you guys have not used Canva before, and this is the very first time you're doing it, there is a link in the newsletter that gives you about a 7-minute tutorial on opening up Canva and creating a graphic from scratch. So if you haven't looked at that yet, and this is new, some of this is probably going to be a little bit beyond what you think you can do, but go back, do that video, and then you may want to come back and do this again. I'm going to do some real basics in Canva, but then I'm going to move past that. So Canva is something that it's a website, okay? So you're going to go in and you're going to sign up for Canva, and most of it's free. I have Canva for work. It's definitely worth it for me because I do graphics for, I don't know, a dozen clients or so. Most people can get by with the free version, but I'll talk about Canva for work later on at the end, okay? So Canva for free, when you pop up, you're going to see, sorry guys, I'm trying to move stuff around. Something like this, and all this stuff under here is going to be blank for you, and you're not going to have all this stuff over here. I've got teams, I've got team members, I've got my brand. Ignore all that. Your Canva is going to look a little bit different. And once you start creating graphics, this stuff will populate. But until you do, you're going to see essentially this screen. And what you're going to do, the very first thing on Canva is decide what size graphic you want to create. I live in this social media graphic all the time. This is where I do probably 90% of my designs. Now, technically, I could do a Facebook post that is a little bit different. And so the cool thing is that you can scroll over each of these designs and see what their dimensions are, which is awesome. So technically, I could do a Facebook post, but because I use a lot of the same images from Facebook to Instagram, I don't want to have to resize it or redo it for Instagram. So I just use the social media post. It's square, it's easy, everything looks good on it, and that's what I do with it. Now, if you're looking to do something that's more custom, let's say you want to create a flyer or an ad, you click that plus and it gives you all of this stuff underneath, all these different things you can do on Canva. You can do, well, a Facebook post, a Pinterest graphic, Instagram, which is 1080 by 1080 is the max, you know, the ideal size for Instagram. I do letterhead, I do resumes sometimes, blogging and ebooks, you can do all this stuff. You can do flyers. This is an 8.5 by 11 flyer over here, if you guys can see the dimensions right there. I've done brochures in Canva. It's awesome. You can do gift certificates. I've done business cards in Canva. And then they also have your social and email headers. So if you're doing Facebook events, they've got that size. Facebook cover photos, they've got that size. And okay, Karen's asking, can I take something from Canva and put it on my website? Yes, you can. Canva does have a terms of use, Karen. So you can take something from Canva and put it on your website. You can even use their designs to put on your website. You know, let's say you take an image from Canva, one of the Canva images that they give you, you can take that and put it on your website in a blog post. Now, in terms of reselling, I don't do any of that. So I don't use Canva to create items that I sell, but I believe that you're allowed to do that also. And I think that if you just do a search on Canva terms of use, you can pop up with that. And actually, I will make a note for me to find that because I found it recently and don't remember everything it said. I will make a note to find it and I will post that link in Social Visibility Society so you guys can see from Canva what you're allowed to do. But yes, you can use these links on your website, on your social media, on your blog posts, and use them to make business cards. They do allow you to do it, to use these images in a commercial sense technically. But let me find out about reselling too, and I'll post that in Social Visibility Society later today. So anyway, you can do events, and then you can even do Facebook ads. So they have the image size for Facebook. Oh, sorry. Sorry, you guys, that was really unexpected. I was trying to scroll over to show you the dimension, and I clicked on it instead. So anyway, so you can see the image size for Facebook ads. So if you want to do something that is beyond what you see in the top part, which are the most common ones, then go ahead and click this plus sign and you'll get more. Okay. So like I said, I usually work in social media. So I click social media and it takes me there and I've got the blank design page. Okay. And Canva is slowly going to load. I'm telling you guys, I actually was having some trouble with it today. And so hopefully it will all go well. But this is what your page is going to look like. Now, I've done some preloaded stuff to kind of go through how this works. So I'm really not going to start from here technically, but we are going to start the designs from ground zero so you can see what we're doing. And if that doesn't make sense to you guys, let me know and I'll go through it with you. So before we start, when we have this blank page, right, the first thing you need to do is think about your background image. And Canva has a bunch of free images. They make it really easy to find. You can either search by something, like let's say if I want roses, you can go in the search bar up here and type in roses, and Canva will show you the free photos of roses or the photos that you have to pay $1 for. Honestly, $1 for graphic design is next to nothing. So, it's not a big deal. It's much cheaper than any of these stock photo sites. So you can do search terms for Canva and search for anything you want, or you can go into this elements section and click on the different elements that Canva has and see if there's any you like here. Now, I do not believe that you can search in the elements section, which is actually a section of all their free stuff. So there's that. So if you, wanted something in that's free, there's a couple of different ways you can do that, but searching the elements, you can't search by a search term. You have to just scroll through what they have. And so you have to, all of these images and elements are free and you decide which one you want and you can pick it and use it to populate your design. So that's one way to do it. Now, some of us probably feel after a while we get tired of seeing the same old elements in Canva, same old design backgrounds in Canva. So I like to use stock photo sites to find other images that I can use in Canva. I get really tired of these things sometimes, and I just want to have more options, especially for my clients that I use do graphics for weekly, I just feel like I need to have more. So I make use of free stock photo sites and paid stock photo sites. And I'm going to tell you guys a couple of different photo sites that I like. And again, I can share all of this in the group too, but there's a couple of different ways to do this. There are definitely some great free stock photo sites. So if you want some really cool pictures of nature, LibreStock compiles 47 free stock photo sites, and you can use whatever you want in there. So if you wanted, and it's free, they ask that you attribute the designs, so it's a nice thing if you do that. I don't think it's necessary, but you can do that. So let's say I wanted to find roses in LibreStock. I can do this and go ahead and download any of these for free. Now, if you scroll through, you can see that the stock photo site is highlighted. There's some I like more than others. Like I've had trouble downloading from Kaboom Pics. I don't know how Stock Snaps worked, but Pixabay's been really easy for me, and Pexels have been easy. So I tend to try and go with those sites. But anyway, LibreStock is a great compilation, and you can get beautiful images. They're perfect with like nature and landscape. Their people images are not so great, to be honest with you. So if you need more people images, you're going to have to go in a different direction. Karen, okay. Holly likes Pexels. Karen's saying that she's looking for a place to find a site that offers 3D images of isolated objects on a white background. I do not believe that Canva does that. I would probably do some searches and maybe look at Creative Market or Hungry JPEG to see if they offer anything like that. And probably, to be honest with you, I'd probably go with more of a paid site. So let me talk to you guys about the paid sites also. I have not seen, Canva has some of that, but they're usually not free, and they're hard to find. So I think they're very limited in having stuff on a white background that you can use to insert that's, like a PNG file where there's no background on it. Okay, so I'm going to go through that slowly. Okay, so I don't know that Canva is the best bet for you, but I'm actually going to type in the Creative Market. I'll put this in the chat so everybody can see Creative Market and Hungry JPEG, maybe, or Hungry JPG. Okay, are the two sites where you might want to search for that. Also look for stock photo sites. I will cover these too, but 123RF is my stock photo site that I use all the time that I pay for. I find that they have good images. You can search for something on a white background and download it as a PNG file and use it, without a background. So I found that those are easy sites to use. There's also services that take backgrounds away, online services where you can put in a photo and get the background deleted if that's something you want, Karen. So we can address that more like in the group too if you want to kind of go into more depth on it. So anyway, so let's keep talking about the free sites. So this is Pexels and Pixabay all through LibreStock. You can go directly onto Pexels if you want, and sometimes I do that too. Just to kind of see what they have going on or what their top photos are. Pixabay is another good site that you can just go online and see what their top photos are. So these are really good free sites. And so like I said, I do a mix of the Canva photos, but I get tired of them, but I like to use these free photos too. And then there's also, you can do searches, like let's say you're looking for feminine stock photography that's free. You can actually do searches for stock, feminine stock photography that's free, right? And I found some really cool images through one of this, where if you sign up for a service, you can download up to like 10 images for free and they let you use them. I found actually a really cool article through this when I did this search, and found that, I know I'm scrolling through this really quickly, you guys, but I found some really cool stock photo sites like Boss Latina, where they actually let you download 10 free stock photos, and you can use these free stock photos in your inbox, and then I think every so often they send you new ones. So depending on what you're looking for, Google and Google free, and then make sure you always look at the terms of use. They usually have it in a fairly easy spot. If anyone's noticed, I've actually used this from Boss Latina because I thought it was a great graphic. And I used it, if Lisa Shaughnessy is on this, I've used it for her too. So for something I did for her. So there are ways that you can get free stock photos that are more along the lines of what you want, but you've got to run some searches. So get into the groove of looking for searches that, you know, work for you. And one of the things I'm actually going to try and do that's on my to-do list is to compile a list of free stock photo sites with feminine images. So you can either take a look at this article that I've done from, that I pulled up from, who was it, Twins Mommy, or I can do searches, or you can wait for me to come out with it too. So there are ways to get these really awesome free stock photos, or you can pay for it. And I'm going to do a quick dive into 123RF is the one I like. I find that Shutterstock and iStock Photo is expensive. Okay, 123RF, most of the photos are about $2. So I can usually get, even if I'm doing business people, I can usually get decent business people sites from this. They're not all feminine, so it's not the best thing ever, but it is more along the lines of what I need for some of my business clients. Writing down, Claire would like a list of free stock photo sites, so we will get that together, Claire. Okay, so anyway, so 123RF for me is a good paid service, and I like that one, and I will use that for my clients fairly often. So, you know, just kind of get used to Googling. And then the other one I use, I know you guys have all seen these graphics from me, is Hot Chocolate. I cannot tell you how much I love this. I'm actually going to let you take a look in their member area. If you sign up for Hot Chocolate's newsletter, it's now Hot Stock, actually. They've just, as you can see, changed their name. But if you sign up for their newsletter, you get one free stock photo that you can use, I think, for commercial use. Again, check out their terms of use. But they've got beautiful, gorgeous styled stock photography in different, you know, different collections. And I think it's beautiful. I use it all the time. If any of you guys, I know I'm scrolling fast, have looked at any of my graphics, I kind of live in this blush and black workday place. And I'm just madly in love with their stuff. So if you do want to check out Hot Chocolate, I'm an affiliate because I talk about it so much. So definitely ask for my affiliate link. And if you want, and I can send you over there. It's, I think, $25 a month. I was actually really on the fence about it, but I use them so much that I just love them. So that's my Hot Chocolate pitch for the day. Always check the commercial rights, what you're doing, you know, for what you're doing. But if you want to go beyond the free photos that Canva offers, there are definitely stock photo sites you can use, both paid and unpaid. And they can get you out of that whole Canva groove, because I think that I tend to use the same photos in Canva over and over again, and I get kind of tired of doing that myself. So I'm sure that everybody who's looking at my stuff gets tired of doing it too. Okay, so that is really info about the stock photo sites that I want to talk to you guys about. And so what's going to happen is that you're going to start with your blank design, and you're either going to use something from Canva, one of their photos, or you're going to upload your own. Now, if you do that, you just have to click upload, figure out where in the world you've got your photo. I have, let's see, trying to see. So I've got all mine in on my desktop in a purchased images folder, and I've got some stuff in Dropbox that I use. So figure out where you put your image that you want to upload. What you're going to do is, let's say, go into Pexels, download the photo onto your computer or desktop, and then upload it to Canva. And that's how it's going to work. I don't know that there's a shortcut for that, but anyway, at least you then have the photo and the rights to it. So then you're going to upload it, and then once this hits 100, you're able to use the stock photo in your image. And you're just going to click on that and put it in there. Okay, so that's essentially the very beginning of how you use Canva. Okay, so I'm going to move from this and give you some give you some info on how to make your graphics pop. I'm going to give you some tricks that I've used over time, and all kinds of information on ways to make a really awesome graphic that just pops and gets your message across. And I think it's things that you guys haven't always thought of. So I'm going to go over here with my preloaded stuff. And don't worry, we're not starting from, you know, the big design. We're actually going to start from ground zero, and I'm going to show you how to do this. And if anybody wants any more detail leading up to this point, let me know, and I'm happy to give you that. So let's say we're starting from ground zero, and I have created a graphic. I'll move some stuff around a little bit. Okay, ignore what I'm doing here. I'm actually gonna, oh, I didn't want to do this. Okay. So ignore everything I'm doing right now. Okay. So let's say we have this design and it's blank, and I want to create a design that says something about how much I love Canva. And I really want to use this one graphic that I have from Haute Chocolate because I think it's a beautiful graphic. So I put the graphic in, and it's not square, so I'm going to move it and stretch it out. And if you haven't used Canva, it's easy. You just get the corner, stretch it, and center it however you want. Let's say I wanted more of the computer in there, then that's the part we use. So there's my image, and then I want to say how much I love Canva. So I'm going to click on text, and you have heading, subheading, and body text. I've actually put my brand fonts in here to make it easier for me. Yours are going to be different fonts, but you can change the fonts. So I'm going to click add heading and start typing I love Canva. So wow, nobody can see that, right? No one can see that. So how do I make that pop? Well, one of the ways I could do it is to move this wording to a different part of the design. So let's say I move it up here. It's okay. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. So up here is where I can change fonts and change size and change color. And if the font allows, I can make it bold or italic. This one, all cap, uppercase, and lowercase. This one font doesn't do that. I'll change fonts and show you guys how it works with a font that allows for that. And then change spacing. So let's say I'm going to use a font where I know I can play around with. So Canva has a bunch of really cool preloaded fonts. I'm going to tell you guys that if you have a brand font that you use, either if you have Canva for work, you're able to upload the font. If not, find one that is find a Canva font that's the closest one to your brand font. And you can do searches. You can say fonts that look like Moneypenny, which is my font, and they'll pop up, and then you can look and see if that font is in Canva, and it's one that you can use. Yeah, you can use. I've had to do this with one of my clients. They had a really esoteric font, and so I just did fonts that looked like whatever the weird name of the font was, and came up with the Nunito font, which is a weird one that no one ever uses, but it looked like their font. So I'm going to say that, let's say PT Sans is one of the fonts that I use. Okay, so I switched this to PT Sans, and I can make it bigger to really highlight my love of Canva. And the biggest, as you guys can see, is here, 144, but actually if you want to go larger than that, you just click on there and type, let's say 200, and it goes up. So some of the smaller fonts, that's applicable. You don't really need it for most fonts. So let's say I'm going to go up to 80, and it's still not really popping, and I kind of wanted my design centered. So I can try and change the color, and that's here. You pick a color. I can try and do something that's bright. Not really loving it. I can do my brand color. I loaded in my brand colors because I can, but not everybody can do that. So just FYI, but I've loaded in my brand color. Well, it's okay, but I really wanted it branded. So I can move it. So that looks okay, but it's not great, right? And it still doesn't pop as much as I want it to. So what I want to show you how to do is to make these simple graphics pop with your wording, because the biggest mistake I see in graphic images is that the wording doesn't pop. And so when people are looking at your image, if they're getting the image without the words, and the words are something you want them to see, that's really bad. Like most of my stuff talks about my courses, or why to sign up for my courses, or what I have going on. So if I have words that don't pop, everyone is going to lose that message, and they won't see that important part. So it's really important in your graphic designs to make your words stand out. So let's talk about some of the fun ways to do this. So using brighter colors is one way. Moving the graphic design to a part of your image that a little bit, is a little bit not as busy or a little bit flatter in color is another way to do it. You can use filters to make your graphic design a little bit more faded. And so one of the ways you can do that is up here under filter. You can gray it out with grayscale, or Nordic really flattens the colors. So if I do that, I hit the Nordic one, my words pop out a little bit more. So that might be one way I want to do, but I actually love the colors in my design, so I don't really want to do that. So what are my other options? And there are plenty of other things you can do to make your designs and you look great and your words pop and have colorful designs and have people see what your wording is. And so that's kind of the meat of what I wanted to get into with this. So let's get started on that. So I'm going to scroll back to the top and show you guys this first graphic I did, right? I wanted to say I love Canva, wanted to use my Haute Chocolate design, wanted to use my graphic, my font, my colors, and it doesn't pop. So what are the things that I can do to make the words stand out? So one of them is to use an overlay or put the words in a square. And that's what we've done with this design here. And so I'm going to show you guys how we've done that by taking all my elements out of it. Okay, so give me a sec to do this. Really, I should have pre-populated this as a blank page. So how do I get from this to this? So you have to start with your image at first. And so you're going to go into uploads where you've uploaded the image and pick out the image that you like and make it fit. And then center it the way you wanted it to on the page. So you start with the image, okay? So the next thing you can do to make it look cool and to make your words pop is to use a square or overlay. So what you're gonna do is go into Elements and search under Shapes. And basically you have a square. You have a square with rounded corners, a square with square corners, and I like that. So that's my square, and I want it to be a little bit bigger, okay? So I pull out the corners to make it bigger, and I'm going to leave it blue, okay? I use white a lot, actually, with my regular designs. That's something you can play with, too, whatever color you want to do. For now, I'm going to leave it blue, but I'll show you a couple different ways. So now I have a square, and it's blocking my design. So I'm going to go into Transparency and lower this to about 68 or so, okay? So that you can still see the design underneath it, but it's created this place where you can put your words. And then I'm going to pop in my text. I'm going to say, I love Canva. And I'm going to center it. Canva gives you grids. So if you can see that faint purple underneath, that lets me know I'm centered vertically and horizontally. And then I'm going to change my wording to white so it stands out. I'm going to make it bigger. And then I'm even going to put a couple of lines in there to make it pop a little bit more. Now, so I'm going to search in Elements, and I'm going to search under Lines. And Canva just added this really cool line that they didn't have before, which drove me crazy. So they have now a regular solid line. We're going to move it here, and I'm going to make it white. And then instead of trying to redo that line by adding another one, I'm just going to copy this one up here. So I have two lines and move that down and center them. So now, as you can see, I've got a design where my words pop, right? And I can leave it this way. I can bring the blue all the way to the edges to make it like a whole overlay where you can see the design underneath. That's kind of cool looking. If that's a little bit too dark, I might lighten up the transparency a little bit. So that looks pretty cool, and I'm pretty happy with that, right? So that really makes my words pop. Or you can just use the text box as kind of a white transparent box, and you'll see me do this a lot. So we just put this box in. We're going to make it smaller, keep it square and make it smaller, and center it. Center it somehow. As you can see, I get the grid lines. Now, I'm going to make this box white, but I know that when I do that, I'm actually going to lose what you see for my lines and wording. So I'm going to change these right now to black. And as you can see, Canva gives me this cool option to say change all my white to black. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to change the color of this box to white. Okay. And I think my words aren't popping as much, so I'm actually going to make it a little bit less transparent. Okay. But now everything pops way more than it used to. So you kind of have two options in using that overlay to do this. And I think it's a really cool way to make, if you're doing quotes and you have gorgeous graphics that you want to use, but the quotes just aren't, you know, popping out of the screen, they're running, you know, you can't see them, they're blending into the background. Both of these options are great for quotes. Okay, so this one, which should be, I don't know why, white. Don't know what I did there. Okay, so you've got this option where you use the overlay across all of it and your words pop, or you've got this one where you just use the square. And you see me do this one a lot. I just think it's a really good option to make your words pop. So again, if you're in love with your graphic and you just can't make the words work with the image so that they pop out, this is a great way to do it. So I would love to see you guys start doing this for all your quotes. I will use this probably 75% of the time. The other 25%, I can make my words work in the graphic that I'm doing. Most of the time, the boxes are just so much easier. And in addition to boxes, you can use circles. So whatever you want to use for your image, you can do circles too, and that makes it really easy also. So I'm going to show you actually how to do this kind of blurred background with the circles that are gradients, but instead of a square, you might want to use a circle shape. So let's get rid of the square and then go into elements and shapes and use a circle and then make the circle white because we're going to stick with that. Now it's on top of the wording, so you're going to have to hit arrange to go back until you get all the wording there. And you might want to just leave it there without any transparency, or you might want to make it transparent so that you can see the design underneath. It's whatever works for you. So use the circles and squares. It's by far the easiest one you can do, and it definitely makes your words stand out more, and that's why I love it so much. So another cool thing you can do with your images is do a blurred background and do circle gradients. And that's a really neat way to make your image pop too. I actually think what happened when I clicked change a color to white and change all, it changed everything in each of these designs. So that's really interesting. Just FYI, if you ever do that with Canva and you have a whole lot of words in black that you don't want to change, maybe don't hit that change all thing, because that is exactly what happens. So really interesting. Okay, so how do we do this design? This one with the blurred image and the circles. That one's pretty easy. I'm going to come down here and again, start with my image. I've already uploaded it. This one, actually, we had used a filter on it, so I'm going to take it back. So, okay, so we're starting here with the uploaded image. Now, one of the cool things you can do is if you want to blur your background, if you hit filter here, you just see these filters, like the regular Instagram type filters. But if you hit advanced options, you get all kinds of cool things, right? Which is pretty neat. And I like using blur. If you do that, what you're going to do is blur the photo. So we're going to go up here to about 25-ish or so and blur the photo background. So kind of bothers your eyes when you look at it if it's the main focal point, but we're not going to use it as the main focal point, okay? So you've got this really cool blurred background, which you can do on any of your images that you have. And then we're going to put a free circle in here. And I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger and center it. And I'm going to leave it blue, but I'm going to make it transparent. And I'm going to make it to about 50% transparency or so, as you can see up here, okay? So that gives me one layer. And then I'm just going to copy it again and make this one a little bit smaller. And I'm going to make this one about 75 or so percent transparent. And then I'm going to copy the smaller one that's 75 transparent and make that even smaller still and leave the transparency as is. So now I've got a gradient of 3 circles and I can put my wording in there. And so then I'm going to pop in my words. I'm going to say, I love Canva again. And I'm going to center this, as you can see with my grid lines, make it white. Oh, sorry. Okay. And then you can, again, put lines in it. I think, did we put lines in this one? Let's see. Nope, we just left that as is. So you can, you can put your lines in there. You can leave it in there, whatever you want. But this gives kind of a cool look and feel to your design too. And if you don't want to use a certain color, you can use, let's say, just white. And we'll make all of the, so what I'm doing is just changing each circle by clicking on the circle itself and then making it, changing the color to it. And So now, so of course my words were white and they popped out, but if you lose your words, you can just scroll over and you can, usually you can kind of click in the area of where your wording is and you'll get it back. So it hasn't disappeared. It's just kind of, you know, faded into the background. And so that's how you can do that with a white circle. And so I think that's a pretty cool tip. And then let's say you want to make everything bigger. So if you get in your design and see how this arrow is just an arrow, if you click on it and do that, it takes all of the stuff in your design and it will adjust all of it where you click that arrow. So I can make it all bigger or smaller. I can move it around, do whatever I want. So as long as you can get that arrow, you can move around all of these things and center them. So if you have all of these elements that are layered on top of each other, doing that where you're clicking on the arrow and selecting all of them makes it a lot easier to move them around. Okay, Claire asks, show again. Okay, so sometimes with Canva, and it doesn't always work, which is weird, but as you can see, I've got like a 4-pronged arrow here, but if I can change it to it's just this little arrow, and hopefully you guys can see the little arrow, and I just click down on my screen, I click and drag till I get, drag till I get everything. And then I can move this, as you can see, it's all highlighted with these dotted lines. I can move it all and change the size of all of it as one unit. So play around with that. I have to tell you, it's really odd. Sometimes I don't get the arrow. It just, and I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. So if I do and I want to use all the elements within my design, it's really easy. If not, you have to move them separately. And click outside the design to release it. So again, get the arrow, see, and okay. 4-pronged arrow, it won't work, okay? You have to get the regular little arrow there, click and drag, everything's highlighted and you can move it all and resize it as one unit and then click out here to do it. Otherwise, I'd have to resize each one and move each one and it is a big pain in the neck. So it's definitely easier if you can do it all as a unit, if that works. So I know that's a really cool tip. That thing made my life so much easier. So anyway, that's how you do a really neat blurred background, and you don't even need all of these layers of circles here. Let's say, you know, you just want like one layer of circle, you can do that and delete the others and make that circle a little bit less transparent. So there's all kinds of cool things you can do. I think this is a really neat look with the blurred background. So that's one that I'll probably be using in the future too. So those are how to do blurred backgrounds and using kind of the circle that is a gradiated circle. And I think that that's a neat look too. So box or circles, overlays, and let's talk about filters next, because there's actually an easy way. This is going to drive me nuts that everything changed to black. Sorry, you guys. I still can't believe that happened. It's just very funny. Anyway, so change it all to white. So there are also easy ways to get your design to look kind of old-timey, right? And the main thing I want to say is that once you pick a look, try and stick fairly consistently with that look, because you don't want to keep doing different filters, different backgrounds, and etc. to make, and your designs are gonna, no one's gonna know what your branding is. So it's really important to stay consistent and try and keep a look that you like. So let's say you go with 2. Let's say in my life, I've decided I want to use this really cool filter thing, and then I want to use my Hot Chocolate graphics just as they are with a white box. So kind of try and stay consistent. If you're always changing between, let's say, a filter that looks teal and then one that looks pink and one that looks yellow, I think it's going to get confusing. So consistency is king with everything, and it's same here. So this one's actually a really easy graphic to do. And I'm going to show you guys down here. Okay, so we're starting with the blank page. Again, I'm going to upload my image and resize it to fit. I think I like Hot Chocolate so much because they actually have food in a lot of their stuff. I'm kidding, but anyway, there's that. So, okay, so you have this graphic, so what do you do with it? Now you can actually do something with filters to make it look really cool. So this is easy. You're just gonna click on filter, and it's easier to start with grayscale this time, which kind of flattens it out to black and white. And then you're gonna go into advanced options. And we're going to leave the blur alone. We're going to play around with the contrast to make it pop a little bit more in terms of contrast. Saturation's good. Maybe make it a little bit brighter. But the tint is really where you can play a lot with it. We're going to leave the blur alone. We're going to leave the X process alone. But you can actually make this different colors, which is pretty cool. So I'm actually going to lower the brightness to make it the color I want. So as you can see what I did there, your brightness is going to make this look different. So if you want it to be like kind of teal and this is too bright, you're going to lower your brightness and to make it that really cool darker color. And so the darker it is, the more the tint works on it. So you can actually go into these purpley pink colors by moving your tint, or these yellow colors, or these, reddish pinkier colors, and do whatever you want. And so the dark, like I said, the darker it is, the easier it is to see the difference in that. So we're going to move it to a little bit more dark, and you can see how it affects it. And so with these two filters, you can create whatever kind of like old-timey look that you want. If you want it to look a little bit sepia, it's really easy to do. And so let's say I'm going to go with this kind of bluish color here. And so I think I'm going to move my contrast to 50 because I think that's where it worked best. The saturation gives you more color. We want it mostly black and white, so we're going to leave saturation alone. So that's like a quick way to do this and make this look like a really cool filter, right? And then again, all you're going to do is put your wording. I love Canva. And we're going to make that. I know, Holly, right? Isn't that cool? I know. Sorry, guys. Really, there's some cool stuff in here that, it's amazing that if you spend more time in it, you learn this. So I'm going to make that bigger. And then I'm going to make the wording white to pop out. And then I'm probably going to put my lines back in there. Actually, I'm going to make this I'm going to make this so big that it's on 2 lines. I'm going to make it so big that it's on 2 lines. Okay, here. And I'm actually going to put a line in the middle of it. Okay, so I've centered it. You can see my grid lines and it's centered. So I want to pick a line and put a line in the middle of it. So I'm going to go into elements and hit lines. And I'm going to put this big one here and resize it a little bit so it's not quite as big. And move it to be centered, as you can see with the grid lines. And I'm going to hit white and make that white. So I think that this is too close. I'm not in love with this. So one of the things you can do is change the spacing of your words. And I do this a lot. That's okay. So I think that I love is too close to Canva. And I want this to be more spaced. So you go up here to spacing and you can play around with the spacing of where your letters are with each other to stretch them out, make them closer. I lost my 0 here. Okay. Or you can change around with the line height. So if I make it bigger, there's more spacing between them. Now this affects everything in your text box, okay? So if you just want part of it spaced and not all of it, just be aware it's gonna affect everything. So sometimes you might need more than one text box to get the look you want, but then you center this and you've got this really cool graphic. So again, just another way to make things pop. And I love that these are so easy and they're fun. So those are filters. And then next we've got, oh my God, I lost what happened here? Okay. So good Lord, Canva did something really weird. So I'm going to say actually that it looks like everything's being affected for some reason with my filters, which is really bizarre. So let me show you another one that's gradients, okay? And I wish I could show you what it's supposed to look like, but apparently I have lost the entire ability to do that design. So, okay, so we're going to do gradient, okay? And gradients are also cool too. It's funny because I think gradients are a fairly new thing for Canva. So I'm pretty excited that we can use these things. So first of all, we're going to start with our image. Ta-da! I know you guys are getting tired of me doing this already. Okay. And then we are going to we're going to make it black and white. Anytime you do an overlay, if you don't want any other colors to show through, it's better to start with the grayscale filter and do that, okay? So we've got this black and white. Now this time I'm going to overlay a box on it. So we're going to go back to our old square shape and overlay. Okay, got that. I am going to make this transparent so the design pops through. Okay, and then I'm going to make it a fun color. Let's say you want to do something really awesome with cool colors. So we're putting this cute, orange color. And again, you can make, play with the color that you want, make it however transparent you want to make the design pop. So we're going to play with that. So we've got this fun color. We're going to do something fun and cool. And you can do this with any colors. And thank you, Karen. This is actually fun for me to do. I again, spend hours in this stuff. So here we go with our color. So we've got this overlay. Yeah, we've done that already. But the cool thing is you can actually do something called a gradient now. And you're going to type in gradient, and do a search. And Canva's got some free ones, which is awesome. They have some paid ones too, like this, but that's a weird one. So we're going to pick this gradient here. And as you can see, it goes from darker to lighter. I don't want it up and down. I actually want it horizontally on my page. So I'm just going to rotate it, and I'm going to pull it across. And as you guys can see, if I move it this way, it's lighter. If I move it this way, it's darker, right? So now we've actually got a gradient on top of our, our shaded design. And you can use this to kind of add another really cool element into it also. And then again, just put your text on there. Actually, I'm going to do my subheading with my other branded font because it works more. And then I need to make this much, much, much bigger. Okay, and I'm going to center it. Yeah, gradient's super cool. That was a new one for me to find. I'm like, oh, I can't believe you can do that. And then you might, if you want your design to pop or you're doing bright stuff, you can use like a really cool bright yellow on there and make it look like that. And then you've got this awesome design that with the gradient on it. And you can put the gradient on top of everything. Play with it. Like try using it. Let's see. I'm going to try and play with layers here. If you take the box away and just do black and white, then you've got that look, which is pretty neat too. Or even, let's see what happens if we just use a normal one. I'm putting the gradient back up. So the gradient's pretty neat. It gives you a whole bunch of different looks that you can play with. And the gradient is what it is, so you actually can't change like how much the gradient is. But by moving it around, you can see you can get darker and lighter shades. So this is a really cool way to keep your design elements in there. Let's say you had, colors you want to use. You could put your design in the darker area with white wording and let that pop, and then let the design itself show up here. So really an awesome way to get your wording to pop. And it's just a really cool tool. I love, love, love this one. So that is pretty neat. And then let's see. Oh, there's one final one. Still don't have, I don't even know what happened here. I lost my gradient somehow. I don't know what happened. So the final thing I want to show you, there's actually ways to do really cool frames in here too. So let's say we've got this, we're going to keep this design, right? And we're going to keep all this stuff the same. I'm actually going to make this, I'm going to put the black and white filter back on it. So if anybody wants me to go through from the beginning, let me know. But I'm happy to do that. I'm going to put the square back on. So let's see if I can make this work in terms of, I'm going to keep a blue square on, and I want the blue square underneath the gradient. Okay, so what I've done is hit arrange to make it underneath everything but the design. If you guys can get that. And then we make it transparent. Put my gradient back up. Okay, so you've got your design here. Actually, you guys, I'm going to take rid of the gradient. Okay, so forget what I said. I want to do something else that's cool, but I'm going to remove the gradient. So I'm going to start all over. There's a way you can make a really cool framing thing out of this, and that's another good thing to do. So let me put this on normal filter, okay? I'm going to put a square text overlay on it. Or no, I'm going to leave it as is, okay? And so we're going to keep it like that. And then we're going to go back in and put the gradient on. And make the gradient pull out. And then I want to keep some of the original color in, so I'm actually going to move the gradient all the way over, okay? And then I want to do some kind of cool frame on it too. So I'm going to go into elements and shapes, and I'm looking for a frame like that. And I'm going to put that on there and pull it all the way to the sides so it fills in the design. And as you can see, the color is going to pop through it. So what I want to do with this one is make it black and then make it more transparent. So this is neat because you've got your area here where you're going to put your words, and then you've got your color peeping through on the outside, but your words are still going to pop. And I think that this is a really cool one too. I just love using this because, again, how you do the grid on. So actually that one's not going to work on a flyer, Holly, because it's not, as you can see. Oh, it does. Okay. I'm sorry. My bad. So with this, because it's got dots on all sides, you can shift it to be flyer size or Facebook cover size. So as long as it's got the sizing dots, you can make it, change horizontally or vertically. Some of them don't, like some of the squares don't have that. So some of the squares can only go, can only be adjusted in their original format. The frame, you see that a lot in the frames, where you can't play around with the frames that much, but this one you can. So yeah, that is a really good one for a flyer, Holly, and that would work well for you. And then if you want to use the gradient, you just put the gradient underneath and then make your words in white. And then if you want, put lines on them, make it bigger, put lines on it. But I think this is a really cool look too, right? This frame thing. So again, if you go under elements and in squares, I went under elements and hit shapes and look, you've got to look, and it's this one right here. And you'll figure out which one it is, because if you don't use that, you're going to end up with something else that is, let me show you another one. So this one is just an outline, right? Which isn't bad either, but not as really cool as the first one we did. So you can play with these things. And then you've got your, I'm trying to get my, so the weird thing about Canva is that when it stacks things, it's a little bit harder to get to the stacked pieces. And I know that there's a shortcut for that, and I just don't remember what it is at the time. So I ended up using moving my elements over, but there are ways to get to those stacked pieces. But anyway, if you want to do this, you can move your gradient over and use the frame with that, and that's another way to do it. So there's all kinds of really cool ways to make your wording pop, and I just love all the things that Canva, all of the different tools that Canva gives to you. So those are really kind of the pieces I wanted to give you of how to make your Canva wording pop, and then also talk a little bit about a few other things that I found too. So one of them is consistency and branding, and we talked a little bit about that already, where I want you guys to get used to, putting your logo on everything. So the one thing I didn't do with this was add my logo, which I have loaded in here. But as you see, all my designs have my logo. It's either centered or in one of the corners. But make sure you brand, because the one thing I don't want to happen is that I don't want you guys to have a design that everybody shares, and then guess what? Your logo's not on it, so it's never linked back to you. And that's really awful. I know that, and I think I shared the story. I was in one of the groups, and some woman had shared this really cool thing about kids and snacks one summer, and it went viral. Like, everything you ever wanted, it went crazy viral, but she didn't put her logo on it. So she re-released it, but still it was out with a lot of people and no logo on it, and they all got it from somewhere and were sharing it. So always, always, always put your logo, and then try and be consistent with your look and feel. Like if I started doing all these gradients and then all these different tones, while it looks cool, it wouldn't be consistent for me. So try and get in a groove. Not everything has to look the same, but it has to look, fairly similar. So like I said, I'm very easy and basic, and I use the square with my wording in it, and that's kind of my look. Okay. I created some graphics for somebody else and used circles to make her words pop, or, so if you always want to use, filters or overlays, just be consistent with how they look. And that's the big key thing. And then the other cool thing about Canva is, you can actually resize things. And with Canva for Work, I can do something called a magic resize, which I love. But for those of you guys, if you can't do that, there's another way to do it too. Like, let's say you created this really awesome graphic and you're going to use it in social media, but then you want it to be your Facebook cover. So we're going to, oh, sorry guys. everything's like bumping into each other. So let's say I've got this awesome graphic that I did. And take a second to do this. Okay, and I'm just doing this really quick. I'm actually gonna do a filter to make it fast. Okay. Oh, Karen, did you? Okay. Oh, okay. So Bite Me Cancer is actually one of my clients that I use. Or that I had one of my clients. So Karen, if you want to talk about that, we can talk offline about that. It's a local charity. It's in Northern Virginia. So I'm happy to chat with you. And Tracy's asking how to make your logo transparent so I can use it as a watermark. Okay. Let me see if I can do that. That's actually something I just put my logo on, but I'll play with that and show you that one in a second. So let's say I'm going to do this, and let me just put a filter on for purposes of showing you guys how to do it. We're going to do brightness lower. I'm going to do this really cool blue filter, and then I'm going to put my wording in white. Okay. And that kind of doesn't, I think I'm going to blur my background actually. So, okay. Not in love with how this looks. Okay, there we go. Better, 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 better. Okay, so anyway, really if I wanted to do this, I would probably put other stuff there. So I have my logo. So let's say I have my graphic. So if you put your logo on here, one of the things you can do is, here, let's put it there. Let's put it where we can see it. So I can put a filter on my logo to make it grayscale, right? And then really what I think, and it's got to be a PNG logo to, okay, so as you see, I have this logo without a background, and I don't have any, here, I'm going to use this one as another example, another logo with a background. I prefer them without a background. It's much, much easier, but let's just play around with both of these, you know, for whichever logo you guys have. So they're both grayscale, so what we're going to do is click on it, and then blur it out, right? And get it to the right size. Now, if you want to do this standard, what you can do is actually create an entire Canva design that's just your logo, and then save it, and then re-upload it to everything else. So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but let me show you guys how to do that. Okay, so now I can't get back to where I needed to be with this. Anyway, I'm going to do normal. Okay, so anyway, so let's kind of take a detour. So with your logo, what you can do is create a Canva design, okay? Put the whole logo in here, and we're gonna make it black and white. And then I'm gonna blur it, or I'm gonna make it pretty sheer. And just save that, and then use that on everything. And that's one of the ways you can do a watermark through Canva. So I would download this, save it, and then reload it up as a logo so it would appear is one of my options to put my logo in. So anytime I needed a really light logo, I could put that on it. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, Tracy, cool. So good. And if you guys want more instructions, let me know. So anyway, what we're going to do. So, okay, I've done this graphic and I need it to be a different size. Now with Canva for work, I can hit magic resize and it'll do whatever I want it to do. I can make it into a Twitter post and hit abracadabra resize, and then it pops up resized, which is pretty cool. But I don't think you have magic Canva for work in the, if you don't have Canva for work, I don't think you get magic resize. So the other thing you can do is keep your graphic here, and then, you know, this is one of the saved, it's saved, right? It's join the society, it's got a name up here, it's saved. So then go back into all my designs Canva and click Twitter post. And so you've got an untitled design. And then you're going to go into this section here called Canva layouts and hit all your designs, and it's going to pop up with every design that you've had. So I'm hoping this one's okay. So actually that one just popped up that I had done. I know this isn't working well to show you guys, and I'm sorry about that. But if you hit all of your designs, it'll show all the designs you have, and you can click on the one that you want to resize, and it'll just pull it in there, and then you can automatically resize it to the right size, if that makes sense. So that's a quick and easy way to get your design into a different size without kind of recreating it from scratch. I think that there's other, oh goodness, we don't want to work right now. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, okay. So what happened was it populated, and it's huge, right? Because my design was huge. So that was kind of a weird thing that did. Let me try and show you in another thing. Okay, where are my social visibility? Okay, so let's say I've got, Canva's really slow, and I'm sorry, that's why you're seeing everything says updating, and it shouldn't be. But let's say I had 60 days to visibility, and I wanted to pop that in a Twitter post. I would click that, and it populates and tries to match it to the right size. And then you can go ahead and play with the sizing of the photo or the sizing of your logo and everything else. So really quick and easy way to get that thing resized that you needed to. And hopefully that's helpful for you guys, okay? So one other tool that's not in Canva, but that makes your Canva life a lot easier is this one that I love. Oh my God. Okay, and it's still here. So there's something called an eyedropper tool. And one of the things that used to make me crazy was when I had a design like this and I wanted to have the same color in my wording, but I couldn't match it. Like I would play around and try and match it, but there wasn't an easy way for me to figure out what the correct color was. And it made me crazy, right? So I'm going to show you guys on a new page. I'm going to actually populate a different design in that's got a lot of color to it. And I can show you what I mean here. So let's say, I want to choose the autumn flowers. I know, what a pain. I'm like scrolling through all my designs and not getting the ones I want. Okay. The life of a perfectionist. So I have this really cool design, and these colors are beautiful, and I want to make wording in this pumpkin color, but I can pick my oranges. I'm going to put in some text. Okay. Again, I love Canva because we all love Canva. And I'm going to put in some text, and I'm going to try and get it the right color. Well, let's see. That orange isn't quite right. I can go in, and if I hit this plus, it gives me the whole spectrum of colors. I can play around with the colors a little bit. Maybe I'll get kind of close, but I'm not sure. So there's something called an eyedropper tool, and what it does is it's a Chrome extension. So if you go in to a browser and click eyedropper tool, and I think it's Chrome Web Store, right? Click that and download it. It's free, I believe. And I've got it already, but you can click it and download it. And I'm going to show you what it does. So super easy to use. I have it already. And if you can see, it's up here. So let's say I want to make this pumpkin color. I'm going to click on this little eyedropper tool, which once you download it, it always pops up. And I don't know why it's color picker. So I'm going to click pick a color from the web page. And as you can see, it scrolls around. So it can give me the different colors I want. I can do it to the pumpkins, the flowers. So I'm going to pick this pumpkin color. And then up here, it tells me what the pumpkin color is. It's actually, it pops up here, it's selected, and it gives me, I think this is the PMS color maybe, but don't quote me on that, gives me this color. So I can, my computer is being super sensitive today, so I can copy this, hitting Control-C in my computer, and then go back into Canva and click on that color and hit plus, and put in the correct color code. And now I have matched the pumpkin color. It is a really much lighter color than I wanted. So maybe I don't want to use that color. Maybe I want to use that purple color. So I'm going to pick the color from the web page, go in here, click on this again, and find out that this color right here is that number, which they call a dark slate gray, which I think is kind of purpley. Go back into my design, hit plus, copy and paste the color. And there we go. I've got that aubergine color. So yeah, that is a pretty cool thing. I was somewhere and saw it. I'm like, oh my God, my life is so much better because I don't always have the colors that match my clients' logos. Like they don't always have that, or if I want to match a design. So I think that that's a really cool tool. So anyway, just something for you guys to know. And if you have questions about the eyedropper tool, ask me and I can show you. But really, if you just, it's in the Chrome store, you have to put it on Chrome and use Canva in Chrome, which I do anyway. And then just remember, like when you click on it, you're going to have to pick the color from the web page to actually get it to work. Like if you just do this and go here, it doesn't do anything. You have to click the color from the web page, get it to the right color, click on it, and then you'll have that color that you can copy. So yeah, Karen, I know, right? Yeah, well, thanks for letting me know, Karen, because I was struggling before this. Karen saying that's a huge tool. I've taken so much time trying. Oh, you didn't know about it. Yay, I know, right? Same thing. I've sat here and I've spent like literally half an hour going, well, that's not right. Let me do this a little bit more. Let me like go a little bit darker and a little bit lighter and what exactly matches. It's taken me forever. So this thing is awesome. I was, again, one of my favorite tools. So really cool. So those are kind of all the ways I wanted to show you guys to make your designs pop. And I wanted to show you a couple other really awesome things in Canva, and then we'll open it up for questions and answers. So one of the things that's neat in Canva is that they have templates. And the thing is that Canva doesn't have everything here. Like you can't go into Canva Home and Canva wherever and find the stuff you need, right? It's just not that easy to get to. Like Canva Help isn't anywhere. So I end up trying to find things a lot. So what you can do is go into Canva templates, and Canva actually has these awesome templates that everybody uses, and it's canva.com/templates, but I don't know that you can get to it from your Canva screen. It's bizarre. So if you click that, and again, just, search for Canva templates and you should be able to find it. And you click that and then your computer will slowly, very, very slowly. I think Canva's actually having a few problems right now, which is why it's so slow. So anyway, go in and you can look at all the different templates. And this is, I believe that what happens is if people make their designs public, this is where they pop up. So you can search. So like Holly, you could search for animal flyers. I do it a lot for holidays. So let's say I'm going to do Halloween and hit Halloween. And you can search by the size you want. I don't really care. I just want to find cool Halloween designs. And then it'll pop up with all the Halloween stuff, right? So I can pick one of these designs I want, and then it allows me to save the template and use it as my own. So essentially I'm not messing around with somebody else's. So let's say I like, booze and booze. Okay, that's great. So anyway, I like this really cute invitation. So it's going to ask me if I want to edit this template, and I'm going to hit edit, and it'll pop up into my Canva, and then I can play around with the template. I can change the wording. I can make it a different size. I can do magic resize, but if you don't want to do that, you can essentially just open up another design in the right size and then put it there. So as long as you've done edit this template, it allows you to do that. And that's where I find a lot of inspiration. I think the thing with graphics is sometimes it's always hard to come up with an idea off the top of your head. And so I love using design templates when I'm stuck on stuff. Like for me, it's a fantastic way to get ideas from my Canva stuff. And I've used this more times than I can tell you. And I think that, I think Nancy even said that, one of the other people in here said that she does that a lot too. Just look for templates, changed it to be her own, and then, and then keeps using that. So it's really great. And then unfortunately you kind of have to start all over again. So I want to get back into templates. I'm trying to think of what else I used. I used it like for Labor Day stuff. Or you can, if you just want to see what posters look like, you can click on all posters and then look at what fundraising posters look like. And this is without a search term. And you can see what people have done. Now, some of the elements in the posters can be elements that they charge for. So just be aware of that. What's going to happen is you'll find out when you try and download it, or you'll get that weird Canva watermark on something. And so you may want to switch it out with a different element, or keep it as is. So there's all kinds of great ideas. Like this is cute for the charity bake sale. They've done some of the things we've talked about. All kinds of great stuff. Like people are way more creative than I ever am. So I love getting ideas from this. So just search for Canva templates or do canva.com templates, and you'll find stuff that you need. And I think that that's very helpful. Another way I get inspiration is that I actually search for industries that are relevant to mine and look for inspiration on there. So if you guys are stuck on how to, do things, I think that's a good way, imitation, but don't, find things that you like, and then you don't need to copy them exactly, but you can get ideas from that. I did that a lot with my aesthetic client. I was kind of stuck on what to do for flyers. So I looked around and I would say aesthetic flyers or laser hair removal flyers or something, and get ideas on what people were doing, then say, okay, well, I can make that a Canva flyer. And I've done that a couple of times too, and it's been helpful for me. So don't be afraid to look around and, not copy from, but take elements from other people. And then the other thing is Canva has tutorials. So if you go in and do Canva tutorials in their design school, they tell you that. And that's where I've gotten some of the really cool things that I've done. Like there's beginners, essential tools, font pairing, tips for titles. So these things are all fantastic. And I think Canva tutorials cover a lot of the basics. I did one, the grids are a good one too. If you want to learn how to use Canva grids, that's easy. And they're basics. I think I did like tips and tricks and I did shortcuts 1, 2 and tips and tricks. And I thought that they were really good in terms of teaching me how to do some stuff. Trying to think, the drag over the different elements was the one that I used from that. And I know there's a couple other shortcuts. I'm still trying to get up to date on all of them, but definitely use Canva tutorials. I think that they'll be helpful for you. Some of the graphic design companies have their own tutorials, like Haute Chocolate actually does their own Canva tutorials using Canva and Haute Chocolate. So I think that those are cool to use too. So use what they have. The Canva tutorials are pretty short and easy. I've done a couple of them that I have on a YouTube channel, but I haven't done a ton. I just got lazy, I guess, and decided to look at what everybody else did. But there definitely are, things that you guys can use that will make your Canva life easier. So keep that in mind when you're looking for ideas, inspiration. And then the other thing is, one of the things that I do to make my life a lot easier in Canva is that I create my own style guide. And what I have done, is I saved it as social visibility style. And I took backgrounds that I liked and made templates for myself. Now, some of these I don't use anymore. And just FYI, you can only have up to 30 pages in one design. So if you like a lot of different styles, you're going to have to, kind of weed through it and get stuff out of there. But I've created these templates where I use them for quotes. As you can see, I actually put a tutorial quote in there. And if I wanted to use that for a different testimonial, I put a testimonial in there. And if I wanted to use it for a different testimonial, I would just take that out and pop it in there. I actually apparently tried my testimonial a few different ways. So you can see that. So I populated this with all different design, Haute Chocolate backgrounds that I love using over and over again, and I'll just pop different things in. My welcome to new members is in here because I may want to adjust that. I love this one to announce webinars, so that's one that I tend to use frequently. I like this one with the notebook on it, so I may another time take this out and leave my logo in there and just put something else in there. So get your style set, and then, put like 5 to 10 different backgrounds in there and get it set up already. Like this one has a few different elements in it. So I may want to take the welcome out and use this paint swatch and keep this, and take these things out of here, but I've got the whole design idea there. And so that way, when I'm here, I've got my guest experts. I kind of use these over and over again for different guest experts. So for me, when I have to do a design, it makes it a lot easier. I go into my social visibility style guide, basically my folder, and design, my social visibility style design. And I've got these, 15 pages, and I look at them and I say, oh, I like this one. Let me pop it in here. Or let me use this one. So for me, it just makes it a lot easier to, sorry, you guys, got a little bit excited. Just makes it a lot easier to create the graphics that I want and more quickly. You know, and I told you guys, I use this a lot. I use this square a lot to make my graphics pop, and I use my logo on there. So I think that if you start doing this, you'll find that it's a lot quicker and easier to do graphics, and then you'll have more of a standard look too, because you're not just searching for stuff, you know, at the top of your head. You're actually spending time to make it look right and make it look standard. And so I think that that's very helpful. So just as an FYI, that has made my life a lot easier. And, you know, and then as I use things and get tired of them, I take them off of here. But again, I've still got that consistency with me. And you can just create this one design that's got your different pages on it, and then you can just pop things into it. So that's really cool. And so let me ask, do any of you guys have Canva for work? Is anybody using Canva for work? Okay, big no. Okay, so I think it's like $15 a month. The difference is, and I am not in any way, shape, or form trying to encourage you guys to do this. It made sense for me. But I think the pluses are that you get the magic resize, which I absolutely love. And I get to upload my font colors. And now that I had rebranded and have new my font colors, my fonts and my brand colors. Now they have a new font and brand colors. I've uploaded them in there. So it's made it easier for me to be more consistent. And so those are the big pluses with Canva for Work. Plus I can put my designs in folders. Not that I use that a lot, but as you can see, I've created folders, which technically I'm supposed to be putting all my graphics in, although I don't know. It doesn't happen all the time. The folders aren't the big deal, but I do love the fact that I can resize and I can put my branding and my, you know, my colors and my logo in there. So that's made it a lot easier for me to use. And those are the big pluses with Canva for Work. If you're just using it for your company, it may not be a big deal. But if you guys ever want to know how it works, or, you know, what the pluses are of it, just reach out to me and I'm happy to tell you about that. So, so that's what I have to say about Canva for Work. Okay, so those are kind of the main things that I wanted to tell you guys about Canva. And before I go back and do Q&A and talk about a couple of other things and more about graphics, does anybody have any questions about Canva itself? No, and actually I'm going to stop screen share. Okay, Karen's saying, okay, does free Canva let me see? Yes, you should be able to save logos in Canva. It's an upload. And so what I've done, and I just sorry, got off of there, is that I put all of my uploads in folders. And I don't know that you can do that. I don't know if you guys saw, but I had all of my graphics I've uploaded into like 9 different folders. And I've said stock photos, client folders, logos, etc. So I believe, oh, bye Claire, thank you. Everybody else stick around if you can. But anyway, so I've done them in folders, but you should be able to upload your logo, and you may just have to keep it in you know, on the side, and keep doing that. But yeah, you should be able to upload anything you want, any type of graphics, any type of logo. So that's the deal with uploads. Okay. So why am I so focused on graphics? You know, I needed to, you know, I talked a little bit about this, but I believe that graphics are at the cornerstone of social media postings and Facebook ads. And so I think it's really important to have great graphics. And I wanted to talk about ads a little bit too. Are any of your companies doing ads? Because all the ad stuff starts with graphics. So are any of you guys doing ads or have thought about ads? Okay. So let me tell you, the ads are a big topic. Everybody I talk to is really into ads. And so I just wanted to quickly tell you guys that I am starting a new Facebook ads class. If anybody's interested in it, I had done my first launch, let's see, several months ago. And I thought it went well. We kind of did a dive into ads. So I decided to run another one. It's going to be an intensive basically and start for 4 weeks. And it's a deep dive into Facebook ads. So if you're interested in running Facebook ads, you know, you really do want to take this course. There is a cost to this course. I will tell you guys, I've taken other courses and I didn't find that they made sense. You know, and I created this course to make a lot of sense. And I've also looked into other courses that I paid for, and they are expensive, to be honest with you. And if you're running ads and don't know what you're doing, like a lot of people think they're easy. And at the surface they are, if you're just boosting a post to followers and friends, but there's a lot more behind it. And if you don't know what you're doing with it, you're kind of throwing your money away, right? And and I've seen people do that. I get so many people say, well, I ran ads and I didn't get any return on it, or I ran ads and nobody signed up, or I ran ads and nobody came to my website. So you've got to really know what you're doing, and otherwise it's worthless. Like, don't even run the ad. So I did want to create this course for everybody who's wants to run ads and wants to learn how to do it the right way. It's a 4-week intensive. We're going to meet for 4 weeks in a row, and we're going to do like an hour-and-a-half dive into actually doing Facebook ads. And at the end of it, everyone who's on the course is going to come out having created an ad and doing a little bit of spend on it so that you know how the ad's running. So I think it's going to be really good. I value the course at $497 for the 4 weeks because I want it to be affordable to everybody. And I've looked at and taken other ads courses, and they cost anywhere from like $1,000 to $5,000. I mean, no lie, it's amazing how much they cost. So I didn't want this to be that costly because I want everybody to be able to take this. So if you guys are interested, let me know. I'm offering a $200 discount to everyone who signs up by October 1st. And for everyone who's on this webinar, you get an extra $100 discount. So it actually makes it, oh my God, $197. My math is awful. So it's $197 for all of you if you sign up in the next week or so. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's the next big thing I have coming up the pike, and I'm really excited about getting into ads again. And wow, this was an hour and a half. So do you guys have any questions? I'm happy to get you unmuted if anybody wants to talk about it. So I'm going to go ahead and try and unmute everybody. Okay. And does anyone have any questions they want to, shout out there? Please go ahead and do it. No, you guys are all quiet? Okay. Okay,
Thanks.
guys. Well, thank you all so much then. I'm actually...
It's been great. You've been really, really helpful.
Oh, thanks.
Loads of information.
So much fun.
Eye-opening for sure.
Okay. Well, good. If you guys ever have any more questions, then just reach out to me in the group and tag me, and I'm happy to answer it. There's a lot more with Canva. It's kind of hard to pick the pieces I want to go over, but you can, what I'm going to do is send out a recap with the link to this webinar in it, so that if anybody missed the webinar, you can go back through. If there's pieces of it you want to go over again, you can do that. So you can actually refer back to it, because this stuff I went over is not in the Canva tutorials as far as I can tell. So unfortunately, it's in a few other places, but not within Canva itself. So I know that if anybody ever wants me to do a piece of it, I can even do a quick video on that too. So happy to go back through it with you guys. But thank you all so much for your time.
So you're going to make a copy of the recording available then?
Yeah, I'm hoping that in the world of Lisa, I'm hoping that I'm saving it to my desktop. I'm going to upload it to YouTube and then send you guys the link in the, I'll send you a follow-up newsletter, and I'll send the link to the recording in it. So that's what I hope will happen. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I've done it before. So hopefully this will happen this time. If not, I'll probably have to redo the darn thing. But anyway, that's okay. So keep your fingers crossed that the recording works. And then, yeah, within a day or two, you should get access to the recording through YouTube, and you can take a look at it. So cool.
Okay. Well done, Lisa. Thank you.
Oh, thanks you guys so much. Have a great day, and I will see you all soon. And remember to reach out with questions in the group if you want. So
Thanks, Lisa. Great.
Bye.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye.
Okay, bye, everybody. Okay.